I am 101 years old, and I am sitting in this chair today because a stranger in an emergency room told me something that my own doctor never did. He looked at me lying in a hospital bed, bruised, shaking, scared out of my mind, and he said, "Mrs. Baker, the number your doctor has been chasing is not meant for you. It nearly killed you." I was 68 years old when I hit my kitchen floor, collapsed right there making my morning coffee. November 1993, a Tuesday. Nothing special about it. Henry was at work, I was alone, and the whole world just tilted. I reached for the counter, but my hands weren't listening. My legs turned to water, and I went down. My hip hit the tile first, then my elbow cracked against the cabinet, then my head. I heard the sound before I felt it, this thud inside my own skull. I laid there for, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, maybe longer, staring at the ceiling, watching the morning light creep across the paint, thinking, this is it. This is how Claire Baker dies. At 68, on a kitchen floor, alone. And Henry's gonna come home from work and find me here. And here's what scared me most. I wasn't sick. I wasn't weak. I had been to Dr. Patterson 2 weeks before. He squeezed my arm, looked at his little machine and said, "Perfect. 118/72. Perfect." That perfect number put me on the floor. Now I need you to understand something, because what happened to me is happening right now to seniors all over this country. And the thing that's hurting them is the thing that's supposed to be helping them, their own medication, pushing their pressure down to a number that their body cannot survive on. Let me explain this the way the emergency room doctor explained it to me. Because once I understood this, I never looked at that blood pressure cuff the same way again. Your blood has to travel a long way. It's got to get up to your brain, down to your feet, out to your fingertips, into your kidneys, your eyes, every little corner of you. And the thing that pushes it there is pressure. That's all blood pressure is. It's the push. Without enough push, the blood doesn't arrive. Now, when you're young, your pipes are soft, flexible. They stretch when the blood comes through. You don't need much push because the pipes do the work for you. That's a young person's number, 120/80. Works fine when your pipes are 30 years old. But here's what happens when your pipes are 70 years old, or 80, or, in my case, 101. They get stiff. They've been working hard for decades, taking a beating. They don't stretch anymore. The blood needs more push to get through. Not because something's broken, because that's just what old pipes need. Think about a garden hose, a brand new one. You turn the water on halfway. It sprays right out the end, nice and strong. Now take a hose that's been sitting in your backyard for 40 years. Hard, cracked, stiff. You turn the water on halfway and what do you get? A trickle. Nothing reaches the flowers at the end. You have to turn it up. That's your body, turning it up, because it has to. And when a pill turns it back down, when a pill forces your pressure to a young person's number in an old person's body, the water stops reaching the flowers. The flowers in your body are your brain, your kidneys, your eyes, and your brain is the first to suffer because it's at the top. It needs the most push to get blood up there. When the push isn't enough, it doesn't get enough blood, and you feel it. You don't know that's what you're feeling. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood up from your chair and the room went gray for a second? not black, gray, like someone turned the brightness down on the world. Have you ever gotten out of bed and grabbed the nightstand because your legs just weren't there for a moment? Have you ever been fine sitting down, then stood up and thought, whoa, I need to sit back down? That's not getting old. That might be your pills. That might be your brain not getting enough blood to keep you upright. I had that. For 2 years before I fell, 2 years, every single morning, I would sit on the edge of my bed and wait, just wait, holding the nightstand, counting to 10 before I trusted my legs. I thought that was just what 66 felt like. I thought, this is just what happens when you get old, Claire. You hold on to things now. I was wrong. It wasn't age. It was my medication doing exactly what my doctor told it to do, pushing my pressure down below what my brain needed to keep me standing. And here's the part that still makes me angry. The first thing that goes when your brain doesn't get enough blood is not your balance. It's your words. You lose words. You're talking to someone and the word just vanishes, mid-sentence, gone. You know what you want to say. You can see it. You can feel the shape of it in your mouth. But it's not there. I lost the word. Tomatoes. I know. Tomatoes. I've been growing them my whole life. But I was on the phone with my daughter telling her about my garden, and I stopped. And I said, you know, the red things, the round things you put in salad. And she got quiet. And I heard something in her voice I had never heard before. Fear. My own daughter was afraid because her mother couldn't find a simple word. She started calling nursing homes that week. She didn't tell me, but she called 3 of them, getting brochures, asking about prices, getting ready to move me out of the house I'd raised her in, because she thought I was losing my mind. I wasn't losing my mind. I was losing blood. My brain it was thirsty, I guess, begging for blood that my pills wouldn't let through, and nobody connected it. Not me, not my daughter, not my doctor. He looked at 118/72 and said, perfect. I need to tell you about my friend Mabel. Mabel was my best friend for 37 years. We met at church in 1956, young mothers, tired, trying to figure it all out. Our kids played together. We buried our mothers together, called each other every Sunday night without fail. Mabel had the same thing I had. She would come to my house on a Tuesday thinking it was Sunday. She would tell me about her grandson's baseball game, and then 10 minutes later, she would tell me the same story, word for word, like it never happened. Her daughter was filling out paperwork for a memory care place. Alzheimer's, they thought. Early onset dementia. The whole family was devastated. It wasn't Alzheimer's. Mabel's pressure was 108/62. She was 71 years old. Her brain was running on fumes. But nobody knew, because her doctor looked at that number and said, perfect. Now here's the number every doctor in this country has been chasing for you, 120/80. That's what they want. That's what the poster in their office says. That's what the textbook told them. And for a young person, it's right. But for you, for someone over 65, over 70, over 75, that number can be the most dangerous thing in your medicine cabinet. Not dangerous like high blood pressure dangerous, the other kind. The kind where your pressure drops so low that your brain goes dark when you stand up. The kind that puts you on the floor at 2 a.m. The kind that killed Mabel. You know what kills more seniors than car accidents? More than almost anything else? Falling. just falling. And from what I've seen, from what happened to me and to Mabel, a lot of those falls start with pills pushing the pressure too low. Your doctor is trying to protect you from one thing, and the protection is causing another thing. And after 70, a broken hip, a lot of people don't come back from that. The infection, being stuck in bed, the pneumonia, the giving up. I've seen it too many times. Mabel fell on a Saturday night, getting up to use the bathroom, 3 in the morning. She stood up from her bed and her brain just went blank. She hit the floor, broke her hip, right there in her own bedroom, the bedroom she'd shared with her husband for 45 years. She had surgery, got an infection, fought for 3 weeks. I visited her every single day, held her hand, told her stories, told her she was going to make it. She died on a Wednesday. Her daughter called me, crying so hard I could barely understand the words. My best friend of 37 years, gone, because her blood pressure was 108/62, and her doctor said, perfect. My fall was a Tuesday, November 1993, 68 years old, making coffee at the counter. Same thing I'd done every morning for 40 years, and the floor just shifted, like someone pulled a rug out from under the whole house. My vision went gray, not black, gray, like someone was dimming the lights. My legs turned to water and I went down, hip on the tile, elbow on the cabinet, head on the floor. I laid there, on the cold tiles, staring at the ceiling, smelling the coffee grounds scattered everywhere, listening to Henry's clock ticking on the wall. 40 minutes I laid there, thinking, Lord, don't let Henry find me like this. Don't let that be his last memory of me. My neighbor Ruth, God bless that woman, she saved my life. She saw my kitchen light on but nobody moving. Came over, knocked, no answer. Looked through the window and saw me on the floor. She called the ambulance. At the hospital they checked my pressure, 82/51. The emergency room doctor looked at me and asked what I was taking. I told him. 2 pills, increased dose 3 months ago, target of 120/80. He closed his eyes, just for a second, like it hurt him to hear it. Then he said, Mrs. Baker, you are 68 years old. 120/80 is a young person's number. Your pressure was pushed too low for your body. Your brain didn't get enough blood. That's why you're here. He sat with me for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Dr. Patterson, God rest his soul, he passed in 2008. He never gave me 20 minutes in 6 years. 6 years of squeezing my arm, looking at the screen, adjusting the pills, saying perfect, and walking out the door. And this stranger in an emergency room saved my life with one sentence. He said, the right blood pressure is not the lowest number. It's the number where your body works. I want you to do something right now. If you have a blood pressure cuff at home, go get it. I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, now sit down. Relax for a few minutes. Take your pressure sitting. Write that number down on a piece of paper. Now stand up. Wait about a minute. Take it again. If the top number drops more than 20 points when you stand up, or the bottom number drops more than 10, you have what I had. Your pressure is falling every time you change position, every time you get out of bed, every time you stand up from your chair, every time you get up from the toilet at 2 in the morning in the dark. You're rolling the dice with your balance, and one day the dice might not land right. Write your 2 numbers in the comments, sitting and standing. My granddaughter Keisha reads every single one to me, every one. It makes my whole week. And your numbers might be the reason somebody else watching this video goes to their doctor and asks the question that saves their life. Now let me tell you the 4 things I felt for 2 years before my fall, because I thought every single one of them was just getting old. They weren't. The dizziness. I told you about that every morning, sitting on the edge of the bed, holding the nightstand, counting to 10. I thought that was normal at 66. It wasn't normal. It was my pills pushing my pressure below what my brain needed to keep me standing. The words, the tomatoes. But it wasn't just tomatoes. It was dozens of words, names, places I'd been. I would be trying to tell Henry about our friend from church, and I could see her face, but I couldn't find her name. 10 minutes later it would come to me and I'd think, what's wrong with me? Nothing was wrong with me. My brain just wasn't getting enough blood to pull the words out fast enough. If that's happening to you, if the words have been getting harder to find, please, before you accept the worst, ask your doctor to check your standing pressure first. The tiredness. Oh, the tiredness. I would sit down at maybe 2 in the afternoon and my eyes would just close. I couldn't fight it. I'd sleep for an hour and wake up feeling like I hadn't slept at all. I thought I was lazy. I wasn't lazy. Every organ in my body was running on half the blood it needed. My body wasn't tired. It was starving. The bathroom at night. I was getting up 3 times, sometimes 4. Every night I thought it was my bladder. It wasn't my bladder. When your pressure is too low at night, your kidneys fight back. They try to push fluid out. They make you pee. So you wake up at 2 and then again at 4, and you blame your age. You blame your tea. You blame everything except the pill on your nightstand. I had all 4 for 2 years, and my doctor never asked about a single one. Never said, Claire, are you dizzy? Never said, Claire, are you losing words? He looked at 118/72 on his little screen and said, perfect. And I was falling apart, quietly, in ways he couldn't see because he only looked at the machine. The emergency room doctor changed everything that day, took me off one pill completely, reduced the other. He said, Mrs. Baker, let your pressure come up. Your body needs more than 118. Let's try 135 to 140 and see how you feel. 135 to 140. Dr. Patterson would have lost his mind hearing that number. He spent 6 years pushing me toward 120, and here this man was telling me 140 was okay. More than okay. He was telling me 140 might save my life. They changed the pills, and within a week something happened that I still get emotional thinking about it. Clear. I felt clear, like someone had taken a dirty window that I'd been looking through for 2 years and just wiped it clean. I didn't even know the window was dirty until it was gone. Week 1. I stood up from my chair, and the room stayed still. I just stood there, looking around, waiting for the dizziness, waiting for the grab, the lurch, the gray edges. Nothing came. I called my daughter. I said, baby, I stood up and nothing happened. She laughed. She said, Mama, that's how standing up is supposed to work. And I laughed too. But I also cried a little because I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten what it felt like to just stand up like a person. Week 2. I was sitting with Henry in the evening, telling him about the garden, and the word came out, tomatoes, just like that. No pause, no searching, no awful silence. I said it like it was nothing, because it was nothing. It was just a word, but for 2 years it had been hiding from me, and now it was back. Henry looked at me. He didn't say anything, but his eyes got wet. He knew what that word meant. He'd been watching me lose myself for 2 years and didn't know how to stop it. Week 3. I woke up at 5 in the morning and I felt, I don't know how to describe it, rested, really rested. Not the heavy, foggy, dragging thing where you open your eyes and immediately want to close them. My body had actually recharged. I made my coffee. I stood at the window, watched the birds at the feeder Henry built me, and I thought, oh, this is what mornings used to feel like. I forgot. Week 4. I walked around the block, by myself. No wall, no grabbing mailboxes, no stopping. Just me and the sidewalk and the November air. My neighbor Frank saw me and pulled his truck over. He rolled down the window and said, "Claire, where you been?" And I said, "I've been right here, Frank. I've been right here the whole time. I just couldn't get out the door." My pressure settled at 138/82. My new doctor, the one I found after the fall. She looked at that number and she said something that Dr. Patterson never once said in 6 years. She said, "Claire, how do you feel?" Not, "We need to get that lower." Not, "Let me add another pill." She asked how I felt. I said, "I feel like myself again." She said, "Then this is your number. This is where your body works best. 138/82. Not 120, not 118, 138. And I've been at that number for 33 years. I'm 101 years old. My brain works. My kidneys work. I haven't fallen since November 1993. The number my first doctor would have panicked over is the reason I'm still here, sitting in this chair, talking to you. My daughter called me last Sunday. She calls every Sunday, never misses. And at the end of the call, she said something. She said, "Mama, do you know what today is?" I said, "Sunday, baby." She said, "No, Mama, it's 33 years since your fall. 33 years since we almost lost you." And her voice cracked. She said, "You're still here, still sharp, still you." And I'm so glad Ruth looked through that window. I am too, sweetheart, I am too. Henry didn't get to see all 33 of those years. The Lord took him in 2003. But he got 10 more years with me because of that emergency room doctor. 10 more years of sitting on the porch together. 10 more years of me saying the word tomatoes without stopping. That was worth everything. Now listen to me. I am not a doctor. I'm a 101-year-old woman sitting in a chair in her living room. Do not stop your pills because of what I said. Your pills might be keeping you alive. But I need you to talk to your doctor. A real talk, not a 5-minute arm squeeze. Say this to them: "Doctor, I've been getting dizzy when I stand up. I'm more tired than usual, and I've been having trouble finding words. I've been reading that blood pressure targets for seniors might need to be different. Can we talk about whether my target is right for my age? And if they brush you off, say one more thing. Can we do a sitting and standing blood pressure test? I just want to see what my numbers do when I get up. That test takes 3 minutes. If the number drops, you have your answer. And if your doctor still won't listen, find a new doctor. I did. It saved my life. Some doctors look at a screen and say, perfect. The good ones look at you and say, how do you feel? That difference, for me, that difference was 33 years. Mabel didn't get those 33 years. She chased the number all the way to the end, and the end came at 74. She should still be here. She should be calling me on Sunday nights like she always did. We should be sitting in my kitchen together, drinking coffee, the way we did for 37 years. But she's not here, because a number on a screen mattered more to her doctor than how she actually felt. I can't bring Mabel back, but maybe I can stop the same thing from happening to you or to someone you love. Your blood pressure number is not your enemy, but the wrong target for your age. That can be. Talk to your doctor, ask the questions, do the sitting and standing test, and if the number drops, fight for yourself, because nobody is going to fight for you in a 15-minute appointment. You have to walk in with your own numbers and your own voice and say, "This is not working for my body." You deserve a number that keeps you alive and keeps you living, not just surviving, living, standing up without grabbing the wall, remembering the word tomatoes, walking around the block with cold air in your lungs, waking up and feeling like your body actually slept. Your daughter not calling nursing homes behind your back. Your grandchildren not whispering about you in the other room. That's not too much to ask. That's the bare minimum. And you won't get it by chasing a number that was made for someone half your age. If this meant something to you, hit that subscribe button. I've got more to tell you. Things I've learned in 101 years of living in this body that your doctor doesn't have time to share. Leave me a comment. Tell me 2 things. What is your blood pressure target right now? And has your doctor ever asked you how you feel at that number? Not what the machine says, how you actually feel. Keisha reads every comment to me, every single one. We sit together on Sunday afternoons and go through them. It makes my whole week. And if you know someone who needs this, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, someone who squeezes that cuff every morning and prays for a number that might not even be theirs, send them this video tonight. Don't wait. Mabel waited. I waited. Some of us got lucky. Not everyone does. I'm Claire. I'm 101, and I'll see you in the next one.